and the people from At Home Medical on with us tonight. And we're going to get a really neat presentation from them. As Donna said to you, and thank you, Donna, for giving everybody a lot of information beforehand.
So I am going to actually allow my daughter to speak about the company, and then I'm going to fill her in. We're going to talk to you a little bit about travel and leisure. That was what was presented to us to inform everybody. We do have a beautiful store that can help you in your journey with so many other things other than just as we come into the season of travel and leisure. There are other things in our store that will, as Joe has said many times, will help you with the little things in the process. The big things we all know about, but it's those little things that we listen and help people so that they feel, whether it's, things that are covered by insurance or little things to help you tie your shoes. So I'm going to turn it over to Allie, and she is going to do the presentation tonight. Hi, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Hi. Okay, so what are some things that we think about when we go travel? One, we're thinking about how much stuff can we fit in our suitcase. So we want to make sure everything is small and compact. So at Home Medical, we have things that do fold and can fit in a suitcase. For instance, some of you may use a cane. We do have a nice folding cane. It's called a lot of people know it as the Hurricane, or ours is called the Safe Step. And it has this adjustable base on the bottom that when you're walking, it pivots in the direction that you're going. So it's very easy to use. It's height adjustable, and we even adjust it to your height when you're here in the store. But the nice part about it is that it folds and will fit in, your carry-on or in your suitcase if you don't need it until after the flight. Some of the other things, if you're taking a transport chair or a rollator to your destination, we do have a travel bag that fits the product nicely in inside of it. It's a very nice sized bag. What else? Oh, if some people have issues putting on shoes, this shoehorn is adjustable and is very compact, and then lengthens significantly to, I believe it's like 30 or 28 inches. I'm sorry. So you can see that.
And you could probably, if you don't use it for a shoehorn, you can scratch your back, right?
Yeah, exactly. Another product that a lot of you may use for bending down to pick up things is a reacher. This is a folding reacher, so it does fold nice and compact and very lightweight, so you're not putting extra pounds in that suitcase of yours. What else? Oh, when we travel in the car, it's really important. Urinary issues are an issue, especially with COVID and not being able to go to the bathroom at certain places. Some of you men might need to use a urinal. I know it's not the nicest, prettiest thing to talk about, but it is a lot. It's a very common question asked, like, what can I do when I am traveling to, LA, as simple as that, from the Coachella Valley. Urinal will save you tons of stops, and you'll be able to take care of business.
Kind of unfortunate we don't have one of those for women, though. Huh? Not yet.
Well, there is a woman one. There is. I kind of like it. I wish there was a little bit better of a design, to be honest. It's a little cumbersome and a little bit uncomfortable. I feel like leakage could occur, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So for a woman, if you really are concerned, we do have, I think in the last meeting, we talked about diapers. And so it is something to think about when you are on a long trip, that you not be embarrassed, that if you don't quite make it to the bathroom, a pull-up is fine. It is not embarrassing. There are all sorts of different levels. You don't see it under your pants any longer. Um, and it is absorbent. So you don't have that accident about someone not allowing you. I know COVID's opening up and hopefully bathrooms are opening up, but it is one of those items that it does tear off easy, and you can still, have your underwear on as well. So it's something to be open-minded about. It's not, there's pads, there's different things for both man and woman to enjoy that trip so that we don't have an accident.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Another thing that impacts people when traveling, whether it be in a car or by airplane, is your body. Your body, if you're traveling in a car for more than 1 hour, you may tend to experience some swelling, fluid retention in your legs. With flying, most definitely, with the elevation increase, you will definitely see a change in your body. Here in At Home Medical, we do measure and fit you for compression. This isn't based on small, medium, large. We actually physically take your circumference of your ankle and your calf. So it is down to the specific measurements, and compression socks will reduce the amount of swelling that you experience while driving or flying.
And I'll bet you have something that helps get those put on, don't you?
Yes. We do have a sock aid. We also have what's called a butler, not one of the men or women that would stand at your front door and help people take their coats off or anything like that. But it is a metal device. I actually have it over here. I just thought it was a little bulky for travel, so I didn't bring it up. But
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, we do have sock aids and butlers that will help you put your compression on when it's difficult.
The other nice part about At Home Medical is that we do, again, sit down and listen. A lot of people think with compression, oh, that's too tight. A lot of times it's just the person isn't given the knowledge of how to put a sock on properly, whether it be from us or from another place. We will take the time to teach you how to use that sock aid or how to use gloves so that it is a ease of use on your journey of having fun and going places, and knowing that the end result is you're not going to have those swollen ankles that sometimes can really ruin a trip.
Yes.
They really do affect. When you're flying, there is a reason why flight attendants and pilots wear compression. So, it's getting to be more talked about with everybody on how great compression does help the body. So you'll see in future presentations that there are other things that we have here. I'm sure I'd love to do a presentation on what is called the Beamer, and that helps specifically on your circulation and helping you improve life. So that is another topic for another day. It's not a travel topic, but it is a topic that we have here that would definitely, Joe, help and has been known to help people in their journey with Parkinson's.
Let's go back to the sock just for a little second. So what people may want to know, especially if they have, what is it when they have lightheadedness and dizziness?
Vertigo?
Well, no, it's low blood pressure, or orthostatic hypertension.
Orthostatic.
Jeremy, there we go. Orthostatic hypertension. So people with that can benefit certainly from the compression socks, and may not be informed by their physician or anyone else that those could work. So thanks for bringing that up. Okay, carry on.
Yeah. So just to finish off with lymphedema and compression helps everybody, from someone like myself who doesn't have any issues but works a lot of hours like Joe, I benefit from it. I know when I go home at the end of the night that I am not going to have soreness in my legs. And I might have that aha moment of taking off my compression, but I would much rather have the aha moment than feeling like feet are going to break open and are pulsating. So I really, really am very passionate about compression and helping you with your body with that. So
Definitely.
So to continue on, there are also other items, Joe, that we like to show people about with their walkers. Walkers have come a long way with travel, from something as simple as your aluminum walker. There's now walkers that Allie's going to bring around and show you that fold up like an umbrella and can fit on the top of the carry-on. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was going to say fuselage, but that's for the scooter.
So this is called the Easy Fold and Go Walker. As you can see, it folds up very compact. It weighs 11 pounds, so identical to an aluminum front-wheeled walker. You additionally to the walker get a front little pouch that has the ability to put, maybe your wallet or a phone, a pen or whatever. So it folds very nicely. The walker also has the ability to adjust the wheels. You can make sure that they're a fixed front wheel, or it can be a rotating wheel for a little bit more mobility if you're there. And then it just simply opens up very easy to continue on.
Wow. Wow.
And that also for your different individuals, that can help a person from 5'2" all the way to 6 foot. So it does have the capability of raising quite high, so that and we do again measure to people so that they feel comfortable when they leave, that the walker is fitted to them. And the majority of the PTs, OTs out here, I can say confidently, know that I do a great job.
Yes, you do. We know that. Yes.
Some of the other items when we're traveling are for the car and for the bed.
Yeah. So a big problem when you're staying at a hotel is, one, the height of the bed and the difficulty it is to get out of that particular bed. So this is a bed caddy. It's made by Stander. It attaches to almost every single bed. It loops down at the end of the bed and attaches on, and it can help you pull yourself up if you struggle with getting out of bed. There's not with bed rails, there is I have a few that I do carry, actually one that is for traveling, that you can put into your suitcase and into that hotel bed. But the bed caddy is an alternative solution if you do struggle with pulling yourself out of bed. Another product when you are traveling in your car in particular, or even from your car to an airport,
Yes.
is called the handy handle.
Yes.
It goes in a U-shaped piece inside your door frame, and positions itself so that when you're getting in and out of your vehicle, you have something to grab on to, especially out here in the Coachella Valley with our soaring temperatures of 100 and sometimes feels like a million, but of 115. It allows you not to reach onto that scorching metal, or pull on, the seat, or try to grab onto your door. It really makes for a safe transition from in and out of your vehicle. What else?
Do you have? I'm sure that you have travel wheelchairs. I see that Neil is asking that question. What's the difference between a travel wheelchair and a regular wheelchair? If you could be 6 hours on that.
So thank you for asking that. So there are a couple of different what are called transport chairs. that we fit to the person. I have to put this plug in. We do have a great rental program. So if you're going on a cruise and you just need something for a week, rent it. And then if you like it, we will apply that rental towards your purchase. So we really try to allow you on your journey to make your own decisions instead of uh, other people just dropping something off, and not knowing your size and not listening to you and knowing what you're going to be doing. That's part of the benefit of being with us at Home Medical, that we do truly listen and try to really try to help you. So with the transport chair, Joe, there are options. So there is ultralight, and then there's some that are a little bit heavier and even yet heavier. And the reason why I say that is really on your size and height. Do we
Yes.
want to put you in something that will fit a 6'1" person versus a 5'1" person? You know, a 5'1" person could go into an ultralight wheelchair, transport wheelchair, and someone 6'1" would feel awkward. They would feel like they're kind of sliding out of that. So we really walk through, take time with you to make that right decision, and see too if something rather than a transport chair, maybe a scooter or a standard wheelchair would benefit you depending on where you're going. I heard about Sicily, and I've helped a lot of people go to Rome. Um, Scooters and ships, lots of ships. Uh, People like the scooter idea. It's very compact. They tend to service you. They give you an ADA compliant room so that it makes it easier for you to get in and out of, and also use the bathroom properly. When you ask for an ADA compliant room with your travels, it does give you things that a normal room might not. A higher toilet, safety rails, things of that, of those items that you don't really think about, that we try to help you with on this journey.
So then, so one of the things that we might also address for people with Parkinson's who have tremor, and so when they're traveling, their tremors may increase because of the little bit of stress or the lot of stress that's going on. Do you have bibs that so that they don't get dirty while they're eating? Do you have not trays, but dishes specifically for people with tremor that they could take on their trip with them? And what are you doing in the eating area?
Yeah, so we have weighted cutlery. We have, and also bendable. So there is a difference. The weighted cutlery it does not bend, but it is weighted to prevent as much tremor as possible. And then we do have bendable cutlery that allows for you to curve the end of the cutlery to, the easiest way to feed yourself, or to have a loved one feed you if you can't feed yourself anymore. Same with bowls. They have a suction, and plates. They have a suction cup base so that they stick nicely to the table. We also do recommend, I know this is, some people might not like it, but you can also go to the children's section in Target and Walmart. And if money's a little bit of an issue, you can save money by going to the child section, and get some fun colors too. um, So, and then bibs we do have, they come in different colors, and different sizes. We have plaid and blue and white, and we even have what's called a crumb catcher. It has a piece at the stomach section that folds up and collects any, fallen food. So that's nice. And
Our Parkinson's corner, that we have like a Parkinson's area of equipment that makes it easy for us to show you. It's not identified with Parkinson's over the top, but it's our little corner. We try to have you feel comfortable throughout our whole store. we really want to push you to exercise. So we have peddlers, and a lot of times, sometimes when we talk about being stressed and traveling, a peddler can be compact if you're taking it in a car, and it can help you get past some of those that anxiousness when you do arrive. It just snaps open so that you can still continue your program of using your arms and your feet. I love to hear such positive stories about people that go to classes and see the movement that they can gain from actually going to the classes. So
Yes.
we do have that here. We have stretch bands, but again, we're kind of getting away from the travel and leisure. So travel and leisure, we're gonna get back to cushions. Sometimes when we're sitting for a long time, our coccyx or our tailbone gets really sore. So we do have cushions for that in a different array. So cushions aren't just one style. Again, we try to have you sit on them. It is a item that you can't bring back. So we do want you to have the time when you do come to our store to have the time to test these items out, so that it's not something that you take home and then you have it doesn't feel quite right because you didn't give yourself enough time. And due to COVID and just where the disease state is in today's society, we as a company had to make a decision on what things we would accept back, and 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 so forth.
Yeah.
So
I'm so happy to hear that you still have your Parkinson's clinic that we started a long time ago.
yep.
And um and there's so many things that I know that you offer that are not necessarily travel related, but we could even talk about a pillow,
Yep.
and how important a pillow is to be compact enough that you could and you can blow it up if you need to. There are those that are inflatable. We talked about the bib, and to cover yourself so you don't get food all over you if you're shaking or trembling, or even not. Like, I mean, I don't tremble, I don't think, but I still get food on me because I can. So
So
um but yeah, I mean, there's so many things. And then, of course, I'm sure that you have the fanny packs that are specific to put around the tummy so that they can put their wallet and their whatever inside their fanny pack so that they're safe and comfortable with that way. We had a question on the portable chair. I think, Neil, we answered that with the portable travel chair. Here's another one. I would love to travel, but my wife is not so willing. Does anyone have any suggestions on meds or preparations to travel? Well, you know what? That's kind of out of this one right now, Frederick. But when we have a roundtable meeting, let's bring that up specifically because I think there are some suggestions people would have. It's going to be out of Molly's and Allie's bailiwick to respond to that one. So
Yeah.
you bring it up again, though.
So, and then just to identify the true definition between a transport wheelchair, or also known as a companion wheelchair, and a manual wheelchair, is the ability to use it. So, with a transport wheelchair, it is a push only piece of equipment. So, it's for your loved one to push you and take you to and from one place to the next, whether that be doctor's appointments, restaurants, or traveling to the airport. A manual wheelchair is mainly for usage inside the home and in your community, so that you can safely function in the place you feel most comfortable, which is your home, and or take a walk outside. That kind of brings me into what I wanted to touch on a little bit. The word leisure was used in the title. Leisure is defined as free time. So some of you may like to still go out and walk about, or even simply stay at home and watch a movie with your significant other or your dog or whatever. So one of the items that we do carry for, like, if you like to stay home, is called the Omni Tray. It's a little bit heavier of a device, but it's a tray that is put underneath your couch or your lift chair or your, recliner, regular recliner, and it swivels and you can place your food on it. So it makes it really easy for you. So you're not getting up and down, going back and forth from the kitchen, which may increase your likelihood of falling.
Great idea.
The other device I wanted to talk about, which is going out and walking. Maybe you want to walk to the pool and go take a swim. We have a device that everyone talks about and calls us about frequently. It's called the Phoenix, also known as an up walker. And I'm going to show you one of our up walkers. So I'm going to back up the camera and then walk in front of it so you can kind of see it. It's a big device, not necessarily for travel, but definitely for your leisure time. Keeps you nice and upright, your posture in its right form, and gives you the independence that you're looking for. So give me 1 second.
So with that being said, we do we have both the Upwalker and the Phoenix. The Upwalker and the Phoenix at one of my stores is a very great demonstration of the benefits of both walkers. There are benefits for the Upwalker and for the Phoenix. I am going to be super honest with everybody, and people who have the Upwalker can probably concur. It is a big piece of equipment. You do need to have someone that is able to collapse it and put it in the car, but it does help you stand up.
It's so big, it takes up the camera. I
But
can't
you
even
know
show
what?
the whole.
There are tremendous benefits for that one. It keeps the posture up. It reduces falls because there are falls in walkers. Otherwise, when someone's bent over the top of them, this one you can actually exercise with as well. You can do your exercises using it. Great invention.
And the both the Upwalker and the Phoenix. It's a compliment to the Phoenix is a copy of the Upwalker. Upwalkers are extremely good, and they have their benefits. We tend to like the Phoenix ourselves. So
yeah. So the Upwalker is definitely an investment. You're looking near $700 about for the actual Upwalker. Weighs approximately 38 pounds. The Phoenix is 25 pounds, and it's $400. So
now, are either or both of them covered by Medicare or by insurance?
They are not coded yet.
Okay.
They have to have a billing code by the ICD-10 in order to be able to, submit to insurance, and it is not set up yet for it. Okay. I do believe they are working on it, but as of right now, no.
Okay.
To go into a billable item, which is an investment if you don't want to wait on insurance, because sometimes insurance is a pain, is the U-Step walker. Again, it is an investment. Out of pocket, you're looking around $1,200. But it is specifically designed for people with Parkinson's, yes, or any neurological disorder that hasn't been diagnosed yet. If you are still in that intermittent phase of figuring out what your doctor is trying to diagnose you with, it does help control your tremors. The brake system, instead of like a normal walker where you squeeze when you need to, you engage your brake system essentially, and it releases the wheels to allow you to walk forward and backwards, left and right. You can also add on a laser light at the bottom to help control your walking so that you're not having the, I forget what it's called.
It's freezing or stutter step.
Thank you. Also on the walker, you can increase or decrease the tension of the wheels on this walker. But yeah, again, it is an investment. It is billable to insurance, though. This does have a code to insurance. You will need a prescription and accurate chart notes from your physician, stating that you need this in order to function independently inside your home. Yes, I think we can possibly bill this through Access Medical. I'd have to just double check with my CEO.
Yeah.
What was it going to go into just now?
Well, I'll add something different than any of these things, because I see in the back you've got the bed railings, the quarter bed railings up on the pictures, and I can't anyone who's having difficult or issues getting in and out of bed. That's one of the. It was a lifesaver for us having that available, which was just used as a quarter railing. There are so many things that I know that you have. I'm going to invite anybody who is in the Coachella Valley to come and see you, because there's no way we could cover everything that you have. But
Yeah,
you did an
so much
incredible
stuff.
job. Go ahead, Allie.
Oh, sorry. So the last thing that I do want to tell you guys about is that we are not just located in the Coachella Valley. We now officially have 5 locations. We have our original location here in Palm Desert, which used to be known as In and Out Mobility. We've done a full conversion of our name. We are now At Home Medical. We have our second acquisition was San Diego. We're off of Convoy Street in San Diego. We have our third location is in Long Beach off of Bellflower. So we are in LA County. Our fourth acquisition was in Palm Springs on Tree. So we are serving the west side of the Coachella Valley. We are getting ready we actually are finishing out our last week at the Tree location. So we will be having a grand opening on Sunrise Way. The building is being developed. We're waiting for the city to finish approving our plans. So we're hoping to open in July in the really hot heat, but we will have a presence again in Palm Springs. And our latest and newest acquisition is in El Centro, a community that is way underdeveloped, needing people like us to have the medical equipment they need. And so we're really excited to start that. And that'll probably be happening sometime around July too, maybe a little earlier. We're just finalizing some things, but we are not just one little store anymore. We are growing and we are ready to help the Southern California community.
Isn't that amazing? So I will tell you that there is a lady who used to own Yes I Can, and she would be so proud to know what you guys have done. Lois is, I haven't talked to her for a while, but she would just be proud to see what you've done. I'm extraordinarily proud of you, Allie, for having taken this on. Molly, of course, and anybody in the Valley needs to know Molly, but you're always very supportive and kind and helpful, getting people what they want and need. And so I can't wait till you come on the next time. I don't know what the theme will be. Let's book it again and come up with more items that you have to help our community. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being out there. You went blank there. There you are.
Sorry.
So that's okay. So thank you both very much. For everybody, would you kindly give them a round of applause? Okay, so now next we're going to have Dr. Howard Cohen, who is just a peach of a man as well. I so enjoy knowing him. He's probably one of the more compassionate physicians that I think I've ever met. I met him quite a few years ago. Actually, he used to work for Vitas Hospice, and that was long time ago. And I knew him and met him through someone who was very at the regional level in Vitas. So, Howard Cohen, it's nice to have you there. Tyler said that he's going to pin both of us to the speaker screen. I'm not sure what that means, Tyler, but you go for it. And let's talk about. Well, we can talk about palliative care, or we can talk about hospice. But one of the things that I can do, yes, I can. Thank you. I'll increase my volume. There we go. I hope that helped. So one of the things that I have wanted to talk about to people when we get into death and dying that people don't know about, and I learned it by reading a lot of books. And then I applied this not just to my mother and my husband, but I applied this to other people that I knew who are leaving the world. And everybody, every one of us is eventually going to leave. But I'd like to talk with you, Howard, about the symptoms, if you will, that happen when someone is close to the end of their life. Can you address those?
Of course, and I want to thank you, Joe. Yeah, I've known you a long time. I feel like we're related. My family, and I'm just grateful to be here. And I think you're wonderful, and all your supporters are great. So thank you for letting me be here today.
Yeah.
The it's funny because in general, people when they hear hospice, they think it's sad, it's dark, it's gloomy. And as I started out as an Army physician. I delivered a lot of babies and did general medicine, and then emergency medicine, and for many years in Orange County when we met, and then eventually the hospice in Orange County area with Vitas, and now I'm in the desert in Palm Springs. But I think just being open, and open to experience and change, no matter what you're doing is vital. I feel so rejuvenated every day of what I do. I don't, even though I can be attached to patients, we all do, because we take care of them at the end of life in their home on their terms, hopefully for the most part, for their terms, not somebody else's, but it really is on their terms. And it's so rewarding because, as you said, we're going to be there one day. And it's just it's gratifying, and it's I feel so grateful that I can do this.
Well, I think too, what you and I have discussed is that at this, all of life should be making precious moments. Sometimes when we've forgotten to really do the really precious moments, this is a perfect time to just make those precious memories, precious moments, as we're concentrating on one person at least leaving the world. But about those symptoms, is there anything particular that someone might look for as someone is getting ready to leave the world?
Um, well, from a medical standpoint, it's different than from an emotional or personal standpoint. Because for the medical field, we go in when patients' symptoms are changing. And a hospice, though we have all hospices, people that do that for a living, the nurses, the spiritual workers, spiritual coordinators, as well as the social workers, volunteers, and of course the providers. But they're in there with helping the patients live the best they can, even at the end, on their terms. And it's really driven by them and or their loved ones or caregivers. So, but when you get close to the end on a medical provider level or medical level, as we look for vascular changes like low blood pressure, do they need oxygen? Are they having pain? Are they not eating? We have to justify that type of aspect. But what you and I talked about recently, and probably have it also over the years, is the actual dying process and what's happening. And that's what's fascinating. And it can be very enlightening, and it makes me feel not afraid of when it's my time. Of course, I don't want to go soon.
Yeah, I don't want you going too soon either. But it's really amazing because oftentimes, well, this happened in my personal life where the doctor said that my mom at the time that she was nearing the end of her life, and Alan, and the doctors would say, "Oh no, you're too vital." And it was interesting to hear their physicians say that they were too vital, and yet I guess because of all the things that I read and because I study a lot anyway, I learned from reading those books that there are certain symptoms, if you will. Symptoms is the wrong word, I think, but certain activities that happen when someone is getting ready to leave. And I'll just address one of them, for instance, is when people who died before, a father, a mother, brother, sister, a wife, husband, whatever, they're actually come back in their spirit to visit the living person. Somehow that happens. I don't know how it happens. I'm not sure we could we can't obviously can't video that because it's not happening in real life, but it is happening in the life of this person as they're getting ready to leave. So when the spirits come to visit, maybe you can address that, or the
Yeah.
predeceased family and friends. And then there's something else that someone, as they're getting ready to leave, seems to want to, they want to go home. And I remember when I would say to Alan, but you're already home, not realizing at the particular time that it wasn't that he meant going home and that he wasn't in his home. But going home means going to heaven or going wherever you believe someone goes after they die. And I thought that was really interesting that someone would say those words and that was a part of it. And then the other thing that I noticed and I read about is something called the angel of death. And we experienced that, at least with Alan, because he would see this spirit come into the corner in the room, but he couldn't, other than this spirit had a black cape on over his or her head, he would say it was a her. And so in the books that I read, that's called the angel of death. Do any of can you does any of that resonate with you as a doctor in this area? And
Yes.
what can you say about it?
Yes, absolutely. The the experience is pretty amazing to watch it happen. We're not always there when a patient dies, but many times when we call that they're transitioning. That's a term we use in hospice, or when someone's getting close to dying. We say actively dying. Um, this transition, we see patients suddenly change, like you said. It's like it's suddenly, and they may not even be, from our perspective, they're no longer aware of us as much as they start reaching their arms out, their hands
Yes.
out. And and as caregivers, oh, we don't want them to hurt their arm. We grab their arm to put it back in the bed. We don't want, those kind of things. But they're reaching out. And I always wonder, who do they see? And like you mentioned, it's very likely, and I want to believe this, it's their loved ones coming, and they're new caregivers they took care of people their whole life, and now they're dying, and we are their caregivers. Their loved ones that are alive are their caregivers, and someone on the other side is now going to take that role and bring them. And that's the way I look at it. And it's a very positive one, because there's no pain over there.
Yeah.
Emotional, physical, etc. And I see that, and they reach out. I remember one lady, she was unconscious. We thought it was probably some medication. Her heart was slowing down, was stopping, and breathing loud. And all of a sudden, the breathing calms down for a moment. It's like they open their eyes and they see their family here. It's like they're told it's time, and they wake up to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And then they pass. It's amazing, and that you can't say is due to their medical condition. It's due to,
As if they're waking up to say goodbye, because there's like 24 hours or I don't know if there's a specific amount of time, but I've heard this over and over and over, how they actually kind of prepare the people who are left behind, that they're going, and they give them one more chance to say goodbye, or to say I love you, or to say whatever it is that they're going to say. And I think it's just incredible,
yeah.
to
And
know that this goes over and over and over. It's an act of dying that nobody really knows about unless we have these kinds of conversations. But
yeah.
it's a spiritual conversation. It's an uplifting and a precious conversation if we can get our heads around it. The beauty that comes from within.
Yeah, and I think what's beneficial to those of us that are allowed to work in this environment, can let them know, if they're open, at least, about, because a lot of patients will ask, well, what's it going to be like when I start dying? What am I going to feel? What's it going to be like? And we can tell them there's these positive experiences that they can look forward to. Like your kid, you can go to Disneyland. But here's something we can tell them, that this is what you most likely will experience, and hopefully that gives them more comfort. And I see that a lot. And
Yeah.
and then putting them letting them know that they are in charge, even though they can't take charge of their health, but they can take charge of the end of their life.
And this is so important also then. So then we talk about, most people again leave hospice till the very end when there's just so little time left of someone's life. And because I think those that are being left behind are worried that they're losing that person. And yet hospice is such a wonderful, compassionate, place to have someone be because of the comfort care that happens in hospice, where whoever is leaving the world is actually very comfortable or made comfortable so that that transition is easy. It's just again, we're back to kind of these precious moments. But to change just a little bit from that, Dr. Cohen, let's go into some of the areas. How is somebody evaluated to whether, so the main doctor, whether it be the neurologist or the primary care, they do not do the evaluation for hospice. It needs to be the hospice company. Why is that, and how is the evaluation made?
Yeah, well, the hospices are, it's regulatory usually by Medicare, and they write the rules. And we have to follow the rules because that way the patients can get the care and don't have to pay out of pocket for it. And I think it's a wonderful benefit because it's truly driven by the patient's needs and what they want. And our goals, I work with such amazing people, the nurses and, like I mentioned, spiritual workers, the social workers. They, everything is, what do they want? How do you want to live right now? You don't have, in typical medicine, we say, well, you have an infection, you need to take this, period. As opposed to, these are your other options. In hospice, it's really, what do you want as a patient? And that's what's, as an individual, I won't say patient, as an individual, as a human being. But it's the education that we need to give them. And like you said, is people think, oh, hospice, I am gonna die. But the more that we're out there in like today talking about what we do, it doesn't mean you have to die. Because we have people that I like, you talk about certification, it's up to the hospice physician and usually the medical director. In my case, I'm the medical director. I have to write a narrative to describe what's going on physically and medically with them that justify the prognosis to get the benefit of hospice. And that's a six or month less prognostications that most likely you would not live more than 6 months. Now, I have patients on for much longer than that.
I know.
We don't know. And sometimes I tell the patients, you know what, you're not going to die. You're really stabilized. You're really comfortable, and everything's good. And people that when it's funny because when they come into hospice, they're scared. They don't know what it's about. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. We tell them, congratulations, you're going to live. And then they get upset because they don't want to leave. They don't want to go off service.
Yeah, because it's so nice. I know.
Because it's totally driven by their individual needs and their loved ones, whoever's able to describe it.
Yeah.
And because sometimes when you get to the transitional phase, they're maybe mumbling, reaching out to see, to the other side. And I wish I could see that, but and other people wake up and they're verbal, or they're verbal and talking to people that you don't see.
Yeah.
And it's all we can do is say, look at the positive of it, because like you said, we're all going to be there one day.
Yeah. And I think when somebody actually understands, when they experience it and they realize how comforting and wonderful hospice is, and again, understanding that people wait way too long for it. So now we've talked about the fact that the hospice company that has to make the final determination, because otherwise they would not get paid by Medicare if the person didn't qualify or wasn't eligible. And the other thing that's kind of a myth, though, is that when someone is on hospice, that they can't see their own doctor.
No, that's not true.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So the patient always has a choice of their primary doctor. We need the hospice provider, or at least the medical director, to determine their appropriateness for hospice. And since Medicare is paying for that service, if the patient wants to see their primary care doctor and the doctor wants to order things and be involved, we have to prove it, because it makes sure that we're working with the payer source, we're managing it, but whatever is appropriate, So and on occasion the primary docs are involved. Most of the time they're scared they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I love to teach and help them if they want to be involved. And those are wonderful people that want to continue to take care of the patients that they cared for. And but they can work with us on that level, and that's not a problem. You don't have to lose your doctor. It's just the payer source can be a little bit vague, but we would work with that to let them be involved.
Yeah. So, and probably the last thing, and then we'll bring Roger Moore in. But so the thing that I want, um, there obviously each hospice company is very different. Is there something that you could recommend in a way that someone should kind of interview a hospice company? I mean, if they're in the Coachella Valley, there's no doubt they should go to Family Hospice, as far as I'm concerned. But if is there any particular thing that you think you could tell somebody as to how to interview a hospice company, because they are not all the same?
Wherever you reside, I would probably talk to nurses that work with like skilled nursing facilities, assisted living facilities that are dealing with patients that probably more likely to use hospice in those facilities, and ask them, because you can get on a website and look at the hospices and look at how they do, but it's nice to know what the interaction is with on that level that you can't really describe on an. You can say anything in an article or in an advertisement. But I would say, first go to long-term care facilities, nursing homes, board and care facilities in your area and say, have you ever worked with a hospice? What was your experience? And get those names, and then call them. They should be willing to talk to you and ask, and you can interview the hospice agency. That's very rare, but I think it's important because they have choice.
Well, I think it is too, because it's like hiring anybody. I mean, you don't just hire them off the street. You have to talk to them to see if you even can build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And especially at this very precious time in somebody's life, you want a good relationship. And I can't imagine a hospice. Most of the people are kind and comforting in general, because they wouldn't be in that profession. But they still need to be interviewed and invited in and validated, if you will.
Absolutely. And I really wish, but I think the reason a lot of people don't do that is because they're afraid of that part of discussion with end of life.
Yeah.
But if it's coming up, it's good to say, or as well as talk to other people that you may know who might have had hospice, or friend, or people that that had a friend that was on hospice. Ask them what their experience was. What was the company? And doing it that way also. Because of the personal experience is important, and the availability, at 2 a.m. versus 2 p.m. Is there somebody available to help you if you fell, or if you had sudden onset of pain or something, or you needed, something broke on your machine, your breathing machine or whatever, you want to know that they're quick and responsive.
Yes.
24 hours a day.
Yeah. Well, I know that how well thought of you are here. I just saw your name again in the newspaper in the obituaries, and you're so well thought of.
What? I was in the obituaries?
You weren't, but but Family Hospice was. Yes, we know that you weren't there, at least unless you're coming back or whatever that is.
Incarnated.
Yeah. Anyway, I just love talking to you. It's a topic that to me is very precious, as everybody probably knows, because at that particular point in time, everyone involved in the process needs support, and hospice is there to do just that. And I'm just so grateful to know you and have you in my life, and so glad that you came out to teach again today. We'll add some tidbits to our to what we know, or to our knowledge base. So thank you so much.
Oh, well, Joe, if you could see me, I'd be bowing. I'm bowing to you because I think you're amazing, and you're such a bright, loving, and caring individual on all levels. And I'm just grateful that you're in my life too. So thank you.
You're welcome. So,
Left the mute.
let's go to lunch.
Okay, I'm always ready to eat. All
All
right.
right. Thank you very much. And now, if you get a chance to stay on, you will hear Roger more if you don't know him already. Now, Roger is making he's a trailblazer in the sense that he's helped so many people with Parkinson's before. And now we're giving him this second opportunity to really get into the weeds with people with Parkinson's and their caregivers. And it's so wonderful because he is a medical hypnotherapist. And there are people, you can actually talk to Roger from anywhere in the world. It doesn't have to be in the neighborhood that he's in. And he's done this for a long time. And I won't give away how long that's been because he only looks like he's 25 now, right? Yeah, sure. Okay, Roger, it's your turn. Now we're talking travel and leisure today, maybe, or the topic as you want to take it. Talk to us. Tell us what you want to say tonight.
All right, thank you, Joe. And just I can't, I'd be remiss not to just jump in on Lord Cohen here. 3 years ago, my mom died at the age of 96, and we'd set up hospice, gone through all the paperwork, everything a few months ahead of time, knowing that, you know, it was coming. And when she had her heart event, my sister called hospice about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. By 7 o'clock that night, this was in Colorado Springs, they were out with a hospital bed. Nurses were there. They got her out of her own bed and into this hospital bed, and they guided us for the next 10 days that she lived. And it was the most awesome, wonderful, beautiful experience. And I just very, very grateful for hospice. So I can't say enough good about hospice.
Thank you. I love it.
All right. Good.
The older I get, the more tearful I get when I hear wonderful stories like that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, it was just a wonderful experience. But I'm curious, I'm not going to talk about travel or any of that tonight. How many here are experiencing any anxiety about re-entering the world post-COVID?
Oh, interesting.
Yep. Okay. My phone's ringing off the hook. The emails are coming in. You know, it's pretty interesting. You know, we went from a very open world and doing lots of things to where, you know, we've spent the last year pretty much locked up. And, you know, it's been one of those things of where, you know, worldwide, we've had about 3,400,000 people die. A year ago, we were, you know, washing the outside of our packages and, you know, scrubbing our food and just didn't know what we could touch and what we couldn't touch. And, you know, was it airborne or was it, you know, how did we get it? And there was, you know, daily Amazon deliveries became our norm. And for many of us, we've been living in this type of media for the last year. It's been a year now since I permanently closed my office, and I'm 100% online worldwide. And this is how many of us spend our days, is in these types of meetings and working here from home. And, you know, we've been pretty much locked up and isolated, and now we're being invited back out into the world. And that has some scary stuff behind it. Neighbor stopped over the other day, and we've had in our community some get-togethers where about 8 or 10 of us would block off a piece of our street, and we'd set up chairs 6 feet apart out in the chairs or out in the street, and we'd talk outside and socialize. So we had some communication. But the other day, a neighbor came to our door, and I hesitated. Well, I knew she was vaccinated, we're vaccinated, but is it okay to invite her in? And I asked her if she'd like to come in, and we talked about we're all vaccinated, and we all held our masks in our hand and went through this awkwardness of, well, is this okay? And decided it was okay. And she came in and sat down. And then the next day I was in a neighbor's house, and it was this awkwardness of, well, is it okay or not? I recently had an experience at Trader Joe's. It was a week ago Sunday. Went in and I had my mask in my hand, but okay, Trader Joe's announced that no more masks. You didn't have to wear a mask in the store. And I stood there at the door with the guy with the spray bottle, and I said, okay, I have my mask. Is it okay to enter without it if I'm vaccinated? He goes, yes, it is. I walked in. I was the only one in the store without a mask on. And I decided to push that and do my shopping because I wanted to observe my own thoughts and my own feelings of this was kind of creepy and kind of weird, being a really sore thumb sticking out there, and the looks I got from people. You know, there was some glares. And at the checkout counter, I said to the clerk, am I the only one that's been vaccinated in the store? And he kind of laughed and he said, no, he says, well, we employees have to wear a mask. And a woman behind me whipped around and said, we choose to be safe. And I held up my mask and I said, well, I'm really struggling here about whether to put it on or not. And we had a wonderful conversation. We laughed, we giggled, we pretty much walked out together. The next time I was in last Friday when I was at Trader Joe's, I wore my mask. Okay. And then I found out later it was still state law that indoors you have to wear a mask in California, which I did not know when I went in. But you know, there's, you know, moms are struggling with, okay, mom and dad is vaccinated, but they have young children at home. And is it safe for them to go into a store or go anywhere without a mask on? Because how do you know that people don't have masks on, have had their vaccination? And it's an interesting world opening up, and how do we re-enter? And one of the things that I hear frequently from people is, well, you know, I kind of adjusted and kind of like my quiet life, and I'm very happy being here at home, and I don't know if I want to re-enter. Well, that's not necessarily healthy either, to be totally isolated, to be locked in your house, to have fear of going out. And the people I've talked to, I don't think they're at a fearful place yet. It's a conscious choice, but there's that potential of where they become recluses, they become fearful and don't want to leave their house. So there's lots of issues going on with the fears and anxieties of post-COVID social anxiety.
And how do we deal with that? How do we work with that?
I'm going to talk about that.
Okay.
And just one other thing is, people with long haulers are really struggling because they're still dealing with after effects of COVID, and long-term, and some of them very, very serious. And can they go in the world unmasked? Can they trust the people that are out in the world without masks on? And what does that mean for their long haulers disease? So what can you do? Well, who here knows about the wiggle? A few people know about the wiggle, because I know you do. The wiggle is just wiggle your toes, wiggle your butt, take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out through your mouth, and get back here in your body and just be very present, very conscious. And then you get to take a look at, okay, what are my thoughts? What are my emotions? And what is it I'm feeling right now? And that was part of this whole social experience that I was going through for myself, being unmasked in Trader Joe's, was just really paying attention to the uneasiness that I felt. But one of the things that's really helpful is when we label that. Oh, there's that uneasiness, or there's that stress, or there's that fearful thought, or whatever our thought is. And when we give it a label and we put it out here, then it doesn't own us, it doesn't possess us, it doesn't take over. We can put it out here and acknowledge, yep, there's that fear, there's that anxiety, there's that stress. Isn't that interesting? Another way of getting mindful in your body is simply a stress reduction response, which is very simply putting your thumb and forefinger together. I like closing my eyelids when I do this, breathing in through my nose And then as you exhale, just release your thumb and forefinger and allow your eyelids to open. There's that throwing away. And you don't have to do this in somebody's face. You can have your hand at your side or under your desk or table or wherever and do it very subtly. And you also can do it driving down the road, obviously eyelids open, hands on the wheel, and just and let go. But there's that release, that letting go. If you go to the Wellness Village, to my page there, you will see a link to Orange Blossom, which is a 27-minute hypnosis relaxation recording. It's free. It's had over 100 and almost 110,000 downloads at this point that I know of, according to our counters. And then people share it all the time, so who knows? But you do not do it do not listen while you're driving, but pretty much any other time during the day, sit back, relax, close your eyelids. A lot of people fall asleep listening to it at night, or they wake up, can't go back to sleep, they put it on. The best time to listen to it is when you will. And the ultimate goal with Orange Blossom is that anytime you feel that stress, tension, anxiety, you simply say or think Orange Blossom and feel the wave of relaxation flow over you. And of course, I teach self-hypnosis. I teach you how to take yourself very deeply relaxed, give yourself suggestions, and be back as quickly as 1 minute. You can take longer if you want, but you can really do it that quickly. What I really encourage you to do is just take a look at what are your own thoughts, your own fears, your own anxieties about re-entering the world. What are you comfortable with? And what are you not comfortable with? And identify that, and then take small and very low risk steps. What are you willing to do? What are you not willing to do? So far, we've been comfortable sitting outside on a Saturday night in an outdoor restaurant and eating dinner outside. I don't know that I'm ready to enter into a restaurant yet and be indoors that way. So I don't know. That's a good question. Just do everything that you do in moderation. I would urge you to choose activities, that have meaning and purpose to you, with family or with friends. Find ways that will work for everybody, of how you can make that connection again. And I spend quite a bit of time. We have a 93-year-old neighbor that I bring her mail to her and take care of her garbage. And we waited for about a month after we were both fully vaccinated. And for a year, we've been doing this. And about a month later, I said, would it be okay if I hugged you? And big tears came in her eyes, and she says, yes, please. And what I found out is I was the first person to physically touch her in a year.
Oh.
Okay. So touch is so important. We all want to be touched. We all need to be hugged. Touch is very important to our own wellness and healing. Most importantly, just stay present in your body and be very conscious. And what I would invite you to do right now is just take a nice deep breath in through your nose and let it out through your mouth. And perhaps just allow your eyelids to close if you'd like. And as you breathe in and breathe out, just allow that relaxation to flow through your body. Allow that relaxation to just from the hairs on your head all the way down through into your fingertips, down through the core of your body, down your legs to the tips of your toes. And feel that relaxation as it flows through all the nerves and the cells of your body, and just feel the internal organs of your body relax. And when you relax like this, what you're obviously doing is boosting your immune system, because your body's relaxing and it's in a rest and digest state, and it's a place of healing and restoration. And as you breathe in, and just notice that in breath, and as you breathe out, I invite you to just imagine breathing out peace. In fact, maybe surround yourself in a bubble of peace. Just as you breathe out a bubble of peace, and with each breath, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Breathing in and breathing out more peace. And allowing this bubble of peace not only to surround you, but to surround your family, your friends, your loved ones, to surround the world. You can allow that bubble to get as big as you want. It's not going to burst. And just allow yourself to experience this wonderful relaxation of peace. And yeah, there's stressors out there. That's okay. The beauty of it is that you have a choice of how you choose to respond to the stressors. You can get wrapped around the axle and get all nervous and shook up. Or you can breathe in and breathe out peace and acknowledge the stressor, but stay in that peace and focus on solutions. And always remembering, no matter what's going on right now in this moment, you're okay. So just continue breathing in and breathing out peace. And know tonight that when you crawl into bed, you can quickly and easily enter into a night of sound, restful, restorative sleep, having just an awesome night of sleep, awaking in the morning, relaxed, refreshed, and totally energized, excited, joyful for a new day. And whenever you're ready, just bring your awareness back into the room you're in, into your body, and gently open your eyelids, knowing that you can be fully alert, fully present, and be totally energized for whatever it is you wish to accomplish tonight. Have a great night, folks. Thank you.
That was so wonderful. Thank you.
Yep.
That,
Thank you, Roger.